Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Today, we're looking at the original Aramaic New Testament in plain English. I'll say that again. The original Aramaic New Testament in plain English. So this is something that's kind of a deal. There's been some translations coming out besides the Lamsa Bible, the Peshitta, of translations in English from the Aramaic. And so this is found on BuffaloRiverForge.com. BuffaloRiverForge.com. Let's just take a look at it. I think I ran across this on Bible Hub. So it's 390 pages. The original Aramaic New Testament in plain English, an American translation of the Aramaic New Testament, translated by Reverend Glenn David Boscher. B-A-U-S-C-H-E-R. B-A-U-S-C-H-E-R. Lulu Publishing. It's copyright 207, 7th edition 212. Editor Timothy Mitchell, New South Wales, Australia. And so it's just going to have, your basic New Testament in here, the revelation of Yeshua the Messiah, introduction to the revelation of Yeshua the Messiah. And then it's going to have an introduction to the Psalms, the book of Psalms, introduction to Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, New Testament appendix, Psalms and Proverbs appendix, and then a bibliography. So let's look a little bit at the introduction. So this volume is a translation of what this author believes to be the original Aramaic New Testament. It's first written by the apostles and evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, Peter, James, and Jude. This translation of the New Testament is different from most New Testament translations, in that most are translated from Greek or Latin, whereas this is from Aramaic. Aramaic, I remember Roy Blizzard used to think that a long time ago. Aramaic was the language of Jesus of Nazareth, Yeshua Natsari in Aramaic, and his 12 disciples. The Peshitta New Testament is the only complete Aramaic New Testament known today, which is held by a significant Christian denomination to be the original text written by the disciples. And that would be the subject of a very long study. But they think at least by like 127 AD it was completed, something like that. The Church of the East has always held to this text as the original writing of the apostles, and because it makes sense, they did speak Aramaic quite a bit in the Holy Land at that time. Preserved with word-for-word accuracy by its scribes for nearly 2,000 years with meticulous care and reverence. This prose translation is taken from the author's the Aramaic-English interlinear translation of the New Testament, and I may have a review on that. Sometimes with the blizzard of different English Bible translations, sometimes things are very similar, and if I don't have it right in front of me, I'm not sure. So that is a very literal translation with Aramaic words side by side with their English translations in parentheses. The same word order as Aramaic, which reads right to left. So why should anyone be interested in such a translation? The answers are manifold, and I cannot address them all here. Most important reason, the original Gospels and epistles as well, written in Aramaic and later translated into Greek for Greek-speaking Romans. Now, only 13% of the Roman Empire spoke Greek in the time of Jesus. That's kind of a little-known fact. Same time, I just don't think when he wrote like the epistle to the Ephesians and stuff that was necessarily in Aramaic. So, again, you could debate that. Josephus addresses the language of the first century Israelites in his first century volumes of Jewish history. He wrote in Aramaic and translated his works into Greek later. He also testifies plainly that Greek was not the language of his Israeli countrymen. And Josephus was born 37 AD and died after 100 AD. And the Greek was not spoken by the vast majority of the Jews at that time because they hated so-called Hellenization, Grecianization. Josephus provides almost all the historical information of first century Israel available today. And so every serious student of the New Testament has consulted Josephus for background information of that time period in Israel. In Josephus's Antiquities 20 and then 11:2, published circa 93 AD, he says this: I have also taken a great deal of pains to obtain the learning of the Greeks and to understand the elements of the Greek language. although I have so accustomed myself to speak our own tongue that I cannot pronounce Greek with sufficient exactness. For our nation does not encourage those who learn the language of many nations. On this account, as there have been many who have done their endeavors with great patience to obtain the Greek learning, there have hardly been 2 or 3 who have succeeded therein, who were immediately rewarded for their pains. So Josephus, a learned priest and Pharisee of his time, wrote that he did not know Greek well enough to speak it fluently. He knew a few who had learned it well, like Philo of Alexandria, which he may not have known. The main truth to be gleaned here is that Greek is not a language of Israel, nor a second language. Had to be studied deliberately to be learned, apparently discouraged by the Jews. They still have a day of mourning for the Septuagint. So this is just a background. You can do a deeper dive if you so like in the original Aramaic New Testament in plain English. So by Glenn David Bosher. So God bless. Check out our other videos. Check out our playlist on these English translations. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.